Corner. I'm your host today, Afro Danes, and we have the lovely Michelle Williamson in the kitchen today. Hello.
Hi, Afro. How are you?
I'm fabulous, actually. It's Thursday, tomorrow's Friday, and I'm really excited about that. Don't you love
So
weekends? I know.
Yes.
Anyway, two very busy women we are, aren't we? And she's volunteered to come and cook for us. Isn't that wonderful? And what are you going to cook today?
Lettuce wraps.
Lettuce wraps, you know, that sounds so healthy. Not that last week was really healthy too, don't get me wrong. Anyway, I'm really excited about this show today. So tell me a bit more about your lettuce wraps.
So there's a famous restaurant that kind of burst lettuce wraps onto the scene, and they became the rage.
Oh.
And I went there many years ago.
Here in Utah?
Yeah, here in Utah,
Oh.
with a friend. And we got there, and she said, it was lunch, and she said, we're going to have lettuce wraps. And have you ever had those before? And I'm like, no, I have. At that point, I hadn't even heard of them.
Right.
She goes, they're really great. And I'm thinking, you know,
Yeah.
what is this? So they came out, and they showed the lettuce wraps, or we had lettuce wraps, and they were delicious. They were truly delicious.
Wow.
And so I got excited, and then I thought, you know, I need to know how to make this at home so I can have it more often than what the budget allows.
Exactly.
So back in the day, they used to put a little condiment caddy on your,
What's caddy?
a little holder, a little,
Oh, okay.
you know.
Caddy.
And yes, and it had different things in it, and so I was able to pick up some clues about what went into it from the caddy, and then the ingredients, because they were all kind of cooked, and I could detect some things, but I couldn't
Right.
others. So the waiter came over, and I said, what is this thing that? And then he told me, and then I'm like, bingo, I know the recipe, I can do this.
Right.
So I went to Macey's,
Love
and
Macey's.
love Macey's, absolutely, and went to their Asian foods aisle, and I was looking for a condiment that came in a dish, but was an essential ingredient for the sauces. So I'm looking, and I'm trying to remember the color and the texture that I saw, and looking for it in these jars, right? Because they had dumped it into a different container. So I buy 3 or 4 of them because I'm not sure, and see
All
at
different ones.
Yeah, and at the
Okay.
restaurant, I knew that I was going to lift this recipe.
Right.
So I'm sniffing, you know, the container, so I can really get that smell fixed in my mind. So I went home after I bought my stuff, and I put it on the counter, unscrew all the jars, close my eyes, so I'm just, you know, really focusing on that sense of smell, and smelled each of the jars until I smelled the right smell, and I'm like, this is it. This is the
No
one.
way.
So this is a famous restaurant's lifted recipe, and
Fantastic.
I hope you like it, but I think it's great.
All the way from,
So-
I presume it was Salt Lake somewhere.
Actually, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
Because they have that restaurant, that famous restaurant in Orem.
Oh,
And they still have
look
it
at that. They
in the
do.
mall.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well, this unknown
So if you've ever
restaurant.
had that, if you've ever been to that restaurant and thought, I love those, I wish I could make them at home, after today you'll be able to do that.
There you go.
So-
This is fantastic.
We have cooking and chopping that we need to do today, and we have a
Okay.
little bit of cooking, and yes, it is very healthy. Now, there is one variation to the recipe.
Okay.
So in the restaurant recipe, they take mung beans, and then they fry them.
Okay.
But for the most part, I kind of stay away from frying.
Okay.
So, and then the oil and and I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, So for me, if you wanted to, and what I would do, we're not doing it today, but if you wanted to, you could switch out, and that's what I do, with the mung bean sprouts, which are very healthy,
Yes.
and no grease and whatever.
And not cook them.
Yeah, you know, of
Oh,
course not.
okay,
Yeah,
right,
you just
right.
dump them in at the end, and they're fresh, and they add a little crunch, which is what those mung beans do. They're a little bit crunchy.
Crunchy,
There's the texture there. They really don't have any flavor except the oil,
Right.
which I'm not a fan of. So, but that's what they do. So I'm not saying you can. I'm just saying I don't do that. So,
Nice.
all right, we're gonna get chopping,
Okay.
and we need to get down to business. So.
What's the first thing you like to do?
Well, we've got to get our ingredients in cooking, and probably the first thing is to take care of our mushrooms here. Now, you can get the white button mushrooms, and that's actually what is used at the restaurant, but there is a world of difference. And actually, that one's going to work better between the white button mushrooms and the portobello. These are baby portobellos, and they have so much more flavor. They're so much more meaty. You know, not like meat, but meaty. So we always use those. They're a little bit more expensive, so if you want to kind of cut it back, you do have a sauce.
Half and half or
yeah,
something.
maybe, but I always just, it's $1. It's $1 more, big deal. So,
everyone can do it.
so let's do that. Let's get those things taken care of. So what we're going to do is just kind of trim the ends off of these.
Oh, are you using a food processor?
And I'm going to use a food processor to cut those. To chop them up. So after they've been washed, so they're a little bit slippery, like mushrooms get. I'm just going to pop them in the processor. And we're going to take care of this because we've got 3 baskets. And by the way, this is one of the things that you can do to kind of increase the volume, if you will. So if you wanted to,
you don't use the stalks.
well, some of it, but I usually trim off some. You know, it just depends. So anyway, if you thought you were having 4 for dinner, and all of a sudden the relatives show up, and now you have 8 for dinner, throw in some extra mushrooms.
Oh,
you know, if you don't have extra chicken that you're going to put in there, you can kind of expand it. Yep. So another thing which they don't do at the restaurant, which I think is also really tasty though, is, and it's what I do at home. I'm not doing it tonight, but it is what I do at home. I will cook some rice, and then I put rice in the bottom of my lettuce cups, and then I put the mixture that we're going to be making on top of that. And then when you put the sauce over it, the rice kind of absorbs the sauce, which is delicious, and then it doesn't slide everywhere. You know, and it's more filling. Again, how do we stretch the budget? That's one way to do it. Rice is inexpensive, and you can pop rice in on the stove and get it cooking. It takes 15 minutes.
Oh, so you cook the rice beforehand?
Yes, cook the rice beforehand and get it. There we go. Get it all cooked up, and then we're good to go. So I'm going to process these, and I want to be able to have you see. So can you guys see this is a processor. You don't have to have a processor, but it's going to take you a million years if you don't.
Yes.
So
I totally agree with that.
So we're going to do a couple of pulses. Size matters for this, and hopefully I haven't overfilled the machine, because we don't want to puree it. We just want to chop it. And if there's a couple of pieces that are a little bit bigger, no big deal. It's all right. We're going to just grab this one out because it's almost not chopped, and then we're going to dump that one
in here.
We're just gonna
add the oil.
We can add the oil into it. It'll be okay. There's a lot of moisture, tons and tons of moisture in mushrooms. Yep, and so they'll be fine, even in a dry pan for a little bit. We'll put some oil in there. Not yet. We're gonna get all the stuff in there, and then we're gonna give it a whirl. So we have one more. Afua, if you could help with that, we'll get that taken care of. I want to grab the right pieces. Okay.
And so what are you going to do with the stalks?
In this case, I'm just going to discard them. If you wanted to, put them into this, I guess you could. Whatever. It's just up to you. And the other thing that while you work on that, I'm going to work on this, because the other thing that was part of that secret recipe was water chestnuts. Water chestnuts are great little gadgets. They stay crunchy. They absorb the flavor of what's around them. And so they're really a lovely addition. And I know some people kind of, I don't know, become nervous around them.
Right.
You know, people get nervous around lots of vegetables, don't they?
They really do.
You know, Brussels sprouts, they make everybody nervous, including me.
I love those. Oh. Really?
Yeah. Not a fan of Brussels sprouts. You will never see me cooking Brussels sprouts.
I love Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, I know I should, but I don't. But, you know, like peppers, people don't like peppers. Peppers are great. So there's a lot of vegetables. You just don't need to be nervous around water chestnuts. Just try it. Just give it a shot. Yep. So we're going to give these a whirl here in just a second. And I'll show you how I cut the water chestnuts. You want to get the whole water chestnuts, because the sliced water chestnuts they're too thin. They can't be cut to the right shape. And really in cooking, It does matter. Size, balance, the whole thing, it matters. It matters a great deal.
What kind you get?
Not so much what kind you get. We've got a great brand, the kind of the house brand, if you will, here from Macey's, which are substantially less expensive than the national brands. So it's always good to do that. But when you're cooking anything, not just this, but when you're cooking anything, you really need to pay attention to the size, because the size will affect the proportion that you're getting per bite, and some things need to be bigger, some things need to be smaller, so it really does matter. So we've got our whole water chestnuts here. Get the chicken out of the way. And I'm gonna cut those in fairly fat slices. So I got about 3 or 4, and then I'm gonna cut them this way. Okay, so I am taking some time with that.
So you can't just throw that into the food processor?
Because it would cut a lot of it too small, and you would lose it, because remember, we're adding these for texture.
Okay.
So if we want to maintain that texture, we really do need to be careful. And Asian cuisine is a lot about, I read a long time ago, and it's true, that it's a very civilized cuisine, because nothing is butchered at the table, if you will, right? Everything comes prepared in bite-sized pieces, easy to consume. You don't need to have a knife right at the table, because all of that preparation has taken place for you behind the scenes from the chef, so that you don't have to have the not only the drudgery but the barbarism of butchering your food at the table.
Oh, I like that. So you're not just attacking your food, you're taking your time.
Nope, you are, and it's also about the aesthetic, right? What does this look like? And we're gonna enjoy the dish with our eyes first,
right? And
then we're gonna get into enjoying it with our.
See, that's what the French are like. Very much, everything is about preparation and putting the love into it.
That's true, but I would have to say that in the Asian cuisine, it's so beautiful, so much more consistently. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that French food isn't beautiful, but when you see a plate of sushi or something come out, it's like artwork, So, and then you eat that edible art, and it's delicious. So, anyway, that's what we're doing with the chestnuts. It does take a little bit of time, but it is necessary.
Especially when you have an oversized knife.
That's true.
Really small.
That is true, but it's going to pay off big time when we get to the time to eat. These little crunchy bits won't have disappeared, and they're going to add a lovely texture to the dish. So after we get this done, I'm going to have you go to work on getting me some garlic. Garlic next. Yes, and you probably know how to smash it, too. Skin it, right?
So you just smash it down.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Wow, did you see my muscles move?
I missed that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna.
My sweet chicken arms in operation here. Okay.
I'm gonna cross over you again. Just a couple. We don't want to overwhelm the dish, but we're going to need those pulverized. Oh. Just pulverized. They're not going to get chopped.
They're garlic?
They're going to.
So these are what kind of size do you want?
Yeah, probably these. They're not big.
Okay.
Not big, and we're gonna. Yep, pretty much pulverize it. So you're going to take care of that for me.
I am.
Because we don't want to bite into any big chunks of garlic. Is the thing. Not in this one. We don't. We definitely don't want to do it. So sometimes garlic can be nice. You bake it for a long time, and it's sweet, and it kind of calms things down. You just want to make sure your significant other is also eating the garlic. So, and then after you're done with the garlic, we are going to. Actually, I'll do this right now because we've got to use that board for the. What am I thinking here?
So
for the chicken.
I'm going to take the skin off of this first. Do you have a specific way that you like to do it?
I usually just smash it like that. And then I can just take it and peel it.
Smash it.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, I mean, it's whatever. You just get it off. It works.
Isn't it just beautiful? What else do you do with garlic? I just love garlic.
Well, you know, it's one of those things that it's like onions. It makes almost anything a little bit better.
Yeah.
So.
But health-wise, I love garlic as well. Do you use it for other stuff?
To chase the vampires. No.
Chase your husband away, you know, all those lovely things.
I don't. I'm not into eating like a big. I wouldn't just nosh on it for a
You
snack.
wouldn't? Oh, yeah. So it's like eating oranges, you know.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Really, it's not, is it?
It's not
No.
not at all.
So what do
No.
you want to do?
So we need that
We
in
need that.
pretty much pulverized. So
So,
that has to be made as small and insignificant as it possibly can.
and do you have a specific way that you like doing that? Or?
Well, I thought you would take care of it because you're like big into the whole garlic thing.
I usually just blend everything and then cook it.
Gotcha. You know what? We could just throw the garlic in with the chicken and
That's
blend it
right,
up, but
yeah.
we'll probably smash it a little bit first. I'm a huge fan of the old green onion here, so I'm gonna get the rest of that and
Or
then
press it. I like to mince it. That's what I usually do.
I
with
have a
my
garlic press, but it doesn't work very well.
Oh, I have a really nice one that I picked up at the DI. Can you believe it? Actually, it's a stainless steel, really heavy. And you put the garlic in, and
it comes out
yeah, it's almost
smushed.
like a Williamson one. You know,
That's
it's
awesome.
pretty harsh. I feel quite impressed. You know.
You should. That's great. Okay, so let's do this. Do we have?
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So we can get that kind of started so it doesn't roll. They tend to roll. Do we have another one around here? Another one of these puppies? Let's get another one. Yeah, once we peel them off, they've kind of gotten smaller than what I was. So let's double. Let's do that much again. Okay.
2.
Yeah, we want to have double that amount. We just want to get it.
Now that we have the flu season,
Yes.
you know, not right now, but kids always get sick for whatever reason. And I bought at the health store, you can get these little garlic capsules.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I hear my kid goes, oh, I've got a sore throat, I pop one in their mouths, you know? Garlic pill.
Like candy.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah, that's
mothers
right.
use throat lozenges. Afwa uses garlic.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I use garlic, and it works every time. They never ask again.
Cool.
And they certainly don't have a sore throat.
And they say, no, my throat's just fine.
Yes.
Right? To
I
avoid
mean, it
the garlic
works
treatment.
either
That's
whether
awesome.
They just don't want to tell me that they're sick anymore.
So you know what? And either way, your problem's solved.
It is.
They're not bugging you anymore.
They're not bugging me. Everyone's okay for school. So yeah.
Exactly.
Everything.
Oh my
Garlic.
gosh. I can picture your house now.
Can you?
Kid wakes up and he's like, how can I get out of school? My throat's sore. Oh no, never mind. Mom's gonna pop the garlic. So.
Oh, I think I have everything in my
And then they go to school and they come home and say, Mommy, I don't have any friends. Why not?
I used to do it the night before, you know.
Your
so
your
it kinda
garlic,
helps.
and he's chasing them off.
No, actually, these are odorless.
Oh, are they? Oh, that's handy.
Odorless too, yes.
That's cool.
Aged garlic or something.
So that would be cool. In
Yeah.
this case, we do want the odor of the garlic.
Yes.
We do want this. So this is really,
Ooh,
really
lovely.
tiny here.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to be able to just do that. And that's good.
Nice.
And we'll just see how that goes. You know, garlic is kind of sticky. Have you noticed that?
I have, yes.
Yep, it is. It kind of has a stickiness to it. So
Is there a reason
that
you might have?
it actually has some sugars in it.
Oh.
Just
Oh, that helps.
natural, but
In my nose.
and the trick to getting onion and garlic off is to take a stainless steel blade,
Yeah.
run it under as cold water as you can get, and rub your hand against this, and it will take
No
it out.
way.
No, I'm serious.
Oh, I've got to try that
If you
one.
could do that with your mouth, you know, maybe that would help. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be good to, yeah.
It'd be
With the
awesome.
knife
Can
as
you
well,
imagine?
yeah.
Can you imagine everybody in there after they eat dinner? It'd be great. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of some of the fat.
Let's just move some of this so that our audience can see what you're doing with the chicken.
Slide the
Did you see that?
right off the plate, right off. Don't worry, we'll sterilize the counter. So
we have, haven't we?
yeah,
Yes.
you bet. So what you can see here is these are frozen.
Right.
You want frozen.
Solid.
Mhm.
Okay.
Because I don't know if you noticed, but cutting, this isn't an especially sharp knife.
No, it's
right?
not. It's blunt.
But it can get through much
Frozen.
easier. If we had to do this when it was thawed, we would be sawing back
For a
and
long
forth.
time,
Yep,
yes.
it just doesn't work. So again, we're don't.
But are you able to cook it sufficiently enough even
Oh
though
yeah.
it's frozen?
Oh yeah, because what's going to happen here is after we chop this up here, it's going to become very small, and that exchange of heat with the atmosphere, with what's going to happen here in the pan shortly, it's going to happen real fast, and this will be completely cooked in just a few minutes. And actually, we're getting close to being ready to eat.
Oh, really?
If you can imagine. So
Wow.
it's the prep that takes the time, and that's always the way that it is with the Asian cooking. By the way,
Yes.
you may have noticed that what we did was get our vegetables out of the way
Absolutely.
before we put our chicken on the board.
Yes.
Safety,
Health reasons.
right? Yep.
Safety, yes.
So this is my chicken hand, this
Very
is
good.
my clean hand.
Okay.
Clean hand
That's
is
it.
going to touch my machine.
Right.
Chicken hand will keep it away. Okay?
And then afterwards, we're going to wash it.
Yes. So, again, portions. I don't want to turn this into a pate.
No.
I'm not doing that. We want it to be in pieces that will make sense when we eat it, and that's what we've got here.
So not too minced.
So can you see that? Yeah, it's not hamburger for
Right.
sure. It's got more texture than that.
Okay.
But it's bigger or smaller than, say, a half-inch chunk, or, you know what I mean? So
Right.
we've reduced it in size, but not so much that it can't still be found.
Right.
So this is probably one of the more key steps. And it's also pretty good because in this case, I had my husband just pop it out of the freezer
Right.
and let it sit out for a little bit.
Do you have a specific? Can you buy this at Macey's as well?
Yes, absolutely.
Your chicken looks really big. It must be an
Yep.
American chicken on
Plump.
steroids or something. You know, I mean, really. Workout, weren't they?
It's probably a really well-fed,
This is it, yes. Well fed.
healthy
Healthy,
American
yes,
chicken.
right.
Don't be dissing on America.
Oh, no, okay. I'm sending.
Okay.
All the animals in Europe are anorexic, I think, or
Yeah.
something. So, you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're going to do this again. And if you, again, this is one of those things that as long as you keep a few things in the fridge and freezer, a few things in your pantry, and I don't know about you, but I always have mushrooms. Pretty much always have mushrooms at my house.
really?
Yep. And then, of course, I keep water chestnuts on hand, and I keep all the other little
Ingredients.
yeah. So if I've got my green onions, which I mostly have on hand, you can whip this up at a moment's notice without having
Okay.
too much fuss, which makes it a great meal
So something
for
like
company.
this. Yeah.
You know what I
but
mean?
For 3 of these, this usually feeds how many people? I mean, this looks a lot.
It will cook down, so we're going to lose some. But normally, I would say probably at least 6 people, really. And then if you're throwing some rice on there, you know,
Oh,
you
okay,
could
to
feed
make
more
it
than
heavier,
that. Yep.
yes.
So if you had, again, how many of us have? Well, maybe it doesn't happen to other people. It happens to me, where people or my husband
Alone.
comes home and says, no, that does never happen. Comes home and he says, oh, by the way, I invited the missionaries over for dinner.
Oh, right.
Or I invited one of his buddies, or his buddy that lives in Colorado, or South Dakota. Anyway, he's in town, and so I told him to come by, and I'm like, so here is the instant need for something, a nice meal.
Right. Fast.
Yep. So if you have stuff on hand, you can pop this out.
Anytime.
Yeah. And then when you go to the table, people are so impressed. They're like, oh my gosh.
You whipped that
It's
up
like
so
you knew I was
fast.
coming. Oh, yeah. We're so glad you came.
That's right.
It's like that. So we're going to put this all in here, and we're just
Okay.
about done
Wow.
with all the hard stuff. Then we're going to whip up some sauces. and let it cook down, and then we're going to be eating. So we'll push that out of the way there. And at this point, we're going to add heat.
Okay.
We're going to add heat to that.
Welcome back to Macey's Cooking Corner. We have the lovely Michelle Williamson here. She's been preparing lovely lettuce wraps, actually, and we're right now in the middle of cooking it. So we've put it onto high, is that correct? Yep. And now I'm going to give you a good stir. I get to do the fun stuff, actually, with this nice big, what do you call one of these?
It's a frying pan or a...
It's what?
Yeah, it's a frying pan, but it's...
Oh. No, the spatula.
Oh, the spatula.
Not the frying pan.
Oh, okay. I was thinking,
come on.
I know you don't
cook
too much, but yes, right. So
there's a lot of things I don't know, but I know this is a frying pan. You know, I mean, hey.
Good. I'm sorry.
No, that's
sorry.
all right.
So we're going to take lettuce here.
Okay.
And it's been washed.
Does it have to be any type? I have to ask.
No, you do. Actually, at the restaurant, it is iceberg lettuce.
Okay.
But iceberg, as you know, isn't as nutritious as some of the other kinds of lettuce.
That's right.
So really, you could use any kind of
Kale?
lettuce. If you wanted to, I wouldn't recommend it. The flavor would really kind of be like, whoa. Yeah. Not exactly the flavor profile we're going for. No. But I typically will use romaine.
Oh, romaine.
Yep.
That I do like, yes. Romaine.
Because it's nice and crispy.
Yes.
It has a little bit different shape, but it works out really well.
That's true.
So, but they had such nice big heads of iceberg here at Macey's tonight that I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So we did. So this one is so huge. This one would be a Ken size.
Oh wow!
So like the size of a cereal bowl.
Uh-huh.
But we're gonna cut that in half today. Kind of tear it in half.
Oh. Okay.
So sorry, Ken.
I love the plate, the dish. Your presentation is phenomenal.
Well, again, it's Asian cuisine, right?
Absolutely.
They care about that.
That's
so
right.
We should care about that.
We should. You know, I feel like we're so busy. You know, we don't have time for dinner parties.
No.
And I really want to get into that, you know. You've made me want to get into it, shall I say. Every time you come on the show.
Do you know what? There is something about the dinner table and sharing food and talking about your day.
That's right.
You know, it's something that's very therapeutic, and I feel like it strengthens families, and it's something that has sadly been lost a lot in
totally
society today. So I'm trying to be careful when I normally am not this tender with my lettuce. But I want
not
to...
loving and caressing it. Very nice. Did I say the wrong word there?
I'm trying to be careful to take these leaves off so that they can be used to put our filling in. And I don't want to tear them to little bits. That would be a problem. So we got another big one. I'm going to carefully decide where that one is getting torn. And it's just beautiful. And you know what? When you're done eating this meal, you don't feel all heavy.
That's right. I was going to say,
you know, you still feel like you could get on with your day.
That's right. You
the
don't feel
leftovers
that
are
feeling.
Just as delicious.
The next day?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yep. So if you wanted to make it ahead, then you could totally do that and put it in a container and stick it in your fridge. And then to heat it up, you know, just throw it in the microwave or... one thing I would recommend, you could even throw it in a pan if you, I know there are some people that don't like microwaves, so you could do it that way, but save some of your green onions if you're going to do that, if you're going to make ahead, save some of them so that you can garnish it. Also your mung beans.
Right.
So, you know, if you knew you were going to do it, you don't put those in until you're ready to serve.
Right.
Because otherwise they just wilt and they don't look as pretty. So we're coming along with this, which is great.
How about these? These are going to be
those are going to be we're going to dump it in after we're done cooking, so they stay nice and clean. So we're going to make the sauce that goes with the chicken, and I've got quite a chunk there. So I'm going to make probably double the amount of sauce. Okay. So we're going to start with a little bit.
So you know what? Before you do this, let's just move this so that we can all see what you're doing. Let's just recap really fast. How much? So you had how much mushrooms here?
Probably 3 pounds.
3 pounds. 3 pounds of mushrooms, and then how much chicken would you say you used?
3 large chicken breasts.
They're oversized.
Yep.
Neanderthal chickens.
The really great kind.
Breast, yeah?
Yes.
Was that breast?
Breast,
Then what else?
And then we had a can of water chestnuts that were
water.
carefully chopped.
Carefully chopped,
And probably 2 large cloves of garlic, or in our case we
garlic as well, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm an
So
American.
joking.
I've never been there.
I know.
Well,
You need to, see?
I have. I've been to Jamaica and the Dominican and
You've
Canada.
been to Jamaica?
Yes.
Oh, I love Jamaica. Okay,
So
well, my
anyway,
brother-in-law's
yeah, it's great.
Okay.
It's great. So we got that in there. We got it
That was
cooking with
easy.
probably 2 tablespoons of peanut oil.
Okay.
You know, you could use any
in
non-flavoring.
here?
Yep.
Okay.
Just to kind of make sure that we don't stick. But again, those mushrooms put off so much water. You know, that if you were saying, "Hey, I'm going to lighten it up a little bit," you could probably get away without using any oil.
Right.
It's not there for flavor. It's just there to keep things from sticking. So we have some sugar here. I'm making a triple batch because I really like the flavor.
Okay. So you put how much? How
So
much sugar?
3 tablespoons of sugar, and now
Okay.
I'm going to use. I gotta count, or I'm going to lose what I'm doing here.
I'll just keep talking.
So 1,
and I'll try not to
oops,
distract her, of course,
2,
because I know she's not listening to my voice.
3,
But that's
4.
awful when,
Oh, I splattered on myself.
when someone
5,
counts differently. Isn't that awful?
6. Yes, my son does that all the time. 7, 8. Okay, we got, and I don't want to run out of soy sauce. So we got about 9 tablespoons of
That you can
soy
get from
in here
Macy's, right?
from Macy's,
That's
absolutely.
right.
And then we're going to add a little bit of water.
Okay.
So
Okay, so-
about 3 tablespoons of water.
So is this, you know, the meat has started changing color. So this
Yep,
showing
it's
that
turning white,
it's
which is
turning
great.
white,
That's
which
what we
is-
want.
okay.
So we've got our Dijon here, and we're going to just
Ooh,
kind of
Dijon mustard.
eyeball about.
Is there a specific mustard that you like?
Yes, it has to be this.
Ooh.
Has to be
It
Dijon.
has to be. What if it's a
Grey
real, I
Poupon.
mean, let me see.
It's Grey Poupon Dijon.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh, well, this is not bad.
So then
Grey
we're
Poupon.
going.
Oh, goodness. There we go.
Yikes. Okay, then we're going to add our chili sauce. This is a garlic chili sauce.
Yes.
And I like it, so you can adjust. This is where you adjust to taste. So
Is this very hot? It's like a cayenne burning hot?
No. This is where we get into the cayenne. This is where we get into that super hot.
okay.
Mongolian fire oil.
Is
As a
that
matter of
really
fact.
good? So what is it? What's this
Mongolian fire oil. Yep, they take chilies and they
Marinate them
yes.
and add
So
oils?
we're putting some, and you can again you can adjust the.
How much did you put
heat.
in?
Probably 6 or so drops.
Okay.
So it's not. And actually, I'm going to put in just a little bit more. We can handle it, right?
Of course, right? Everyone, yes?
Okay. And then we're going to put in the rice wine vinegar.
And that does what?
Or, yeah, rice vinegar. Rice vinegar. It adds some nice acidity to it. Helps to add some balance. And I'm putting in about, need a little bit more. I need about 1.5 teaspoons or so of that. So we're gonna get that in there, and then we are going to go ahead and mix up our sauce. And how are we looking on the liquid that is in the pan? Is there a lot of liquid in the pan?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, indeed. I
So-
almost just got mesmerized by what you were doing. I'm
me
fascinated
wicking it.
by this. Isn't that
It's a
just the
tiny little
cutest
whisk. It
thing?
is,
Oh,
yeah.
look. I
It's-
just love small things.
It's the kind
Aw.
of things that you buy for your kid and then you steal because you actually need
That's
it.
right.
Which is
That's-
exactly what happened.
Is that what happened?
Yep, I think I bought that for my daughter Maddie for Christmas so
Oh.
I could inspire her to want to cook.
Uh-huh. How did that work?
But yeah,
Yeah?
depends.
Okay.
She makes killer chocolate chip cookies.
Did she?
Banana bread, yes, absolutely.
Oh my gosh, will she come on the show, you know?
You know what? She probably would.
Oh,
probably
we'll
talk
have to
her
ask
into
her,
it.
won't we? I mean, she's delightfully beautiful, just like
She
yourself,
is,
isn't
and
she?
she's
Oh.
so tall.
I
She's tall
see-
like
oh,
you. It's
that's
great.
right. I'll have to wear my heels
Yep.
that day, won't I? Oh.
It's one of those things. I don't know. This
Yeah.
is just. I don't want to make shorter people feel bad, but
Yeah.
I have a prejudice in favor of tall people.
Do you? Oh.
Yeah,
Isn't it
my
amazing?
husband's tall. I like that. I think it's
Yeah.
great. I can wear high heels. It works out for me.
Absolutely. Well,
So-
you know what? I have a friend who is about I don't know, about 5'10". She wears really big heels.
Does she?
And her husband, I swear, is like 5'2", and she
Oh,
doesn't
really?
care. And she
Really?
struts it good.
So how does he, is he okay with that?
He's very confident.
He's good. Well,
Yes,
there you go.
You know.
This one we're going to set aside because I want to
Okay.
get rid of a little bit more water.
Of
Just a
this?
little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody can see. Can you see how much water there is? We got a lot.
See, kind of right here, yeah.
'Kay, there's
And
a
we
lot.
don't want all that, do we?
No, we want to get rid of that. So if we could crank up the heat and
Sick.
cause
Oh,
evaporation, that would be good. Which,
right.
by the
Oh,
way,
goodness. Yes.
the bigger the pan, the surface area, the faster things are going to evaporate. So
Ah.
if you're cooking this and you are on a tight schedule,
Right.
really get your biggest
Pan.
pan out there. I also would not recommend a wok
Oh, I was
for
going to
this.
ask you about that.
No,
Yes. Why?
because the shape of a wok is like this, right?
That's right.
So the ingredients fall down
ah.
to the bottom, and then
The heat's
what's at the
just a-
bottom is getting more cooked, and what's at the top, and you're,
Yeah, it
so
takes longer.
It does. So I wouldn't recommend that. That's
'Kay.
just my thought on that. Huh? Do we?
What
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's right.
There we go.
I agree, right?
So, yeah, absolutely. So here we're going to make the dipping sauce, right? Because we have some sauce that we cook in.
Right.
We made that. Now we're going to make the sauce that we are actually going to eat. I'm going to make a double batch there.
So this is something with the wraps. You have the wrap, and this is what you're going to dip it in, and then
Well, you don't actually dip it. That's a misnomer because things would
Oh.
fall out. But you spoon it on top, and and then
again,
you eat
you
it.
do that
Yeah.
delicately, don't you? And
Yes.
So much,
Yes.
So much.
So we're going to take the soy
beautiful.
sauce here. Whoa,
Oh,
that's
wow.
probably
So how
two
many-
all in
yeah, How
one.
many was that?
We wanted about 4. I think we got 2 the first
Oh,
time.
there you go.
But you know what? It just doesn't matter. It's good.
No, it's
all
all good
good.
flavor, right?
Yep. We're going to add about a tablespoon of water. We're going
Okay.
to add some more Dijon.
Dijon, I love
Yeah.
that. You know, the Grey Poupon.
Yeah, that's
love
that
Dijon.
guy. Oh, and are you old enough to remember the commercial where you're driving down the road and the car pulls up and then the rich guy rolls down his window and he says, "Excuse me, do you have more Grey Poupon?" And the
Totally
person's
not.
looking at him like, Yes, because I always have Grey Poupon condiment in my car. But I didn't care. I like that commercial because I like the way the guy talked. I told you before I'm an Anglophile.
Really?
Yes.
You did. Yes.
So anybody that can speak in a British accent, I'm all about
really?
that. Oh, yeah.
Is that why you love me so much?
That's why.
It's
That's
my
why.
neighbor.
Yep.
Are you my neighbor? I've always wanted to say that line. Are you my neighbor?
I am your neighbor.
It's wonderful. Sorry.
If I could get away with putting on a fake accent and
Yes.
sounding British at work, I would totally do that.
Would you? I bet
Yep.
you could.
I
bet
couldn't.
could.
I
You don't
can't
think so?
really- No.
I
I would,
try
though.
with my children, at school when I'm teaching. I've every now and then popped up with a Dolly Parton accent. They're
Dolly
quite-
Parton?
I know, that's the only, the southern
You can
thing.
do Dolly
I
Parton?
can.
I have to hear it.
But not right now. It just, I don't know. It just comes out and all the kids are like,
Huh?
I know. What's it? Even my co-teacher, she's like, wow, that's cool.
That
But then
is-
it stopped straight away,
Well, do you control it? Or like Tourette's, it just comes out on its own?
Is that right?
Well, I don't know. I'm asking you.
Oh, I don't know.
With Tourette's, they can't control it. That's why I'm asking.
With what?
Tourette's.
What's Tourette's?
Tourette's is like sometimes people will start swearing, randomly, and then they say, Ken says he has Tourette's.
Oh, really?
He has no control over it.
Oh, is that? No, I do have control of that one, but depends who's in the room, don't you think? Doesn't it depend, or doesn't he?
No, he does.
It doesn't. It just.
Oh heavens, no!
Oh right.
No, it doesn't matter who's in the room. Occasionally, he's been very shocking to small children.
Oh really?
You're like, wow.
Wow.
And he says, "Oh, I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't say that."
Oh, sorry.
I'm like, "Yeah, you probably
He's
should."
not here, is he? So it's okay. We could totally talk about him, can't we?
He would say the same thing.
Would he say
would,
that?
Yes, he
we
would.
should have him on here, don't you think?
I think
A
so.
husband
He's
and wife-
gorgeous.
He is. A hunk of a man, isn't he, actually? Should we make him red?
Yes.
Do you think he can hear us?
Do you know what? There are some men that age terribly.
Yes.
And you're going, wow, you
Oh.
are frightening,
Yeah.
On
What
the
happened
way
to you, right?
Salt Lake, there is a electronic sign And it has a picture of some kid, probably his senior picture or something. He has kind of the long, shaggy hair. And then it shows him as an adult, and it's about like how you grow up and insurance. I don't know. He's advertising something. I never paid attention to that. What I think every time I see that is, you were not half bad looking as a kid, but you're hideous now. Yeah. Kent's not like that. He's really aged well.
That's right. I think you're right. No, we should, maybe Christmas. Maybe we should do a Christmas show with you both, a husband and wife thing, and I'll be in the middle.
And he could come and eat.
Huh?
He could come and eat.
He could certainly come and eat, yes. Yeah. As long as he helped cook, right? Welcome back to Macey's Cooking Corner. This is the last steps, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We're ready.
To our lettuce wraps.
We've made our sauce. We've gotten rid of that extra water. We're dumping that in there.
You can see the water has disappeared.
We're giving it a stir.
Good stir. Again, do you want to remind everyone, our guests?
Mushrooms, chicken, water, chestnuts.
The sauce.
The sauce has a tablespoon of sugar, 2.5 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of water, 1/2 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, 1/2 teaspoon of the chili sauce, this kind, and then we put in Mongolian fire drops. All of this stuff you can get at Macey's. It's great, and also some rice vinegar. Okay.
Lovely.
To balance things out.
Okay.
And I think we are done. We can turn the heat off on this.
Yeah.
And that is great.
Is that good?
Yep. So if you're going to serve it, again, oh, you know what? We got to add the onions.
Oh, do we need it on?
Nope.
Okay.
We're going to stir them in.
These green onions, we're just going to add them. How many did we use? About 2 bunches? How many? No,
one bunch.
Just 1 bunch?
But it was the whole bunch, the green parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all of it?
Yeah, because I like onions. You wouldn't have to, but I think they're great.
I do too.
You know, and they add such a nice element to it.
Yeah.
And then look at that color. Isn't that great? As that heat, that residual heat of the chicken is just going to brighten the color of the green onions. And then, like I said, I would use mung sprouts. I would dump those in at this point and just mix them.
And that'll be perfect.
We are ready to go. Okay. We're going to grab our tray of washed lettuce wraps, and we're going to put one of these together. And basically, you're going to just take...
So, you know what we're going to do? So that all our audience can see what you're doing. Let's put it like that.
Again, to kind of stretch it. Not the restaurant doesn't do this, but I would. Put rice in the bottom. Because it's going to add, you know, bulk, and then you can feed more people. And then we have our dipping sauce here. Okay. Only it's not a dipping sauce. That's a good thing that you have, because you're not
dipping it.
Yep. Yeah. And then you're just going to put on however much you like, and not dribble it and make a mess. But if you can see, that's
beautiful.
And then you can serve your chopsticks if you want to pick up the bits that fall out. So now you have to try that and see.
This is beautiful. Look at that. These stainless steel. Something.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So Afua, here's the place.
Too, you know?
You could. Multi-purpose, just don't tell the neighbors, right? On Monday they were in my hair, and on Tuesday they're on your plate.
Oh, this looks fantastic. So can I just,
you just pick it up and eat it. It's kind of messy, but it's great.
Could you make another one for yourself and we both eat it?
At the same time. I see.
So,
you have a strategy
here.
So we can both make a mess of ourselves. Yes,
exactly.
I understand.
Yes, and I love this white that you're wearing. So.
Oh, and I got soy sauce on it. It's such a mess. So okay, so we're going to do that.
Let's do this together. The African culture, we all eat together.
Do we? Okay.
Is it good?
No, so I didn't wait for you.
I'm already dripping before I
I don't care.
Okay.
It's got some heat.
That's good. I haven't hit the heat yet.
It'll get to you.
No?
Kind of builds up. Well, my tolerance for heat isn't really great.
Well, maybe I need another bite.
Yeah, well, and you may be more like used to heat than I am. So.
Am I making you all hungry?
You should be. It's great.
That's good. You know what? The spice is really good. Just right.
You would sound so surprised. Like, oh my goodness. It was that way with the fettuccine Alfredo and the smoked ham.
Is that right?
Yeah, and you're like, Oh my gosh. This
is really good. All the flavors have come out, and it's not overwhelming. The spiciness and
it is crunchy.
And everything's crunchy and fresh. Delicious.
Thanks.
Another success, dear.
I think so.
This has been a wonderful evening, really. I just love having you on the show. Do you know that? This lettuce wrap is absolutely a delight, and I feel like just licking that plate. You know what we used to do when we were little, but it's not very appropriate right now. So thank you all for watching. Yes, I'm going to wipe my hands. Absolutely.
It's not. It's a messy thing.
But it's a delightful thing, isn't it? This is a good thing for couples as well. You know, you're getting all messed up and you could just wipe each other's face. Anyway, we won't go there. Okay.
At our house, we're too busy eating.
Oh, you
It's like, you know, stay out of my way.
Well, I'm just saying for a romantic evening. Remember last time we were thinking about romantic meals? Yeah. Anyway, don't worry about it. This has been a delight. I'm grateful for you guys, our audience here. We meet every Thursday here at Macey's Spanish Fork. At 7 o'clock on Thursdays.
We, her, not we. We, me.
That's right. And we had the lovely Michelle Williamson preparing lettuce wraps, and it's absolutely delicious. We look forward to seeing you next week. Fabulous, darling, fabulous.
Thanks.
Oh, yummy.
Okay.
You guys get to taste.
Honey.
Can you make one more?
Absolutely. Well, I have to finish this, don't I? Because...